And again, I'll repeat my thanks for your focus on the energy side of the business that you and the President clearly addressed last year. And we have, I think, a great deal to do to fulfill what was begun, but we have made considerable progress, and I look forward to even more of that. I'm going to keep my questions this morning relatively parochial to Alaska, as I know members will have questions about the parks backlog and the reorganization, and I will go broader in the second round. But let me first begin, Mr. Secretary, with the Eastern Interior Resource Management Plan. As you know, this came down in the last few days of the Obama administration. And one of those plans in particular, this is the 40-mile district, turned a management regime that had worked for decades, just literally turned it on its head. In addition, we've got our placer gold miners in the 40-mile district that have had some real trouble working out standards for revegetation. And this has been really quite problematic. So the question for you this morning is whether or not we have any administrative, administrative options to address some of the very valid concerns that exist with regards to this 40-mile plan. If you're willing to work with us to help restore balance to that plan, and then specific to the revegetation standards, if we can find a solution to help our miners out in that area.
Well, thank you for that question. And restoring trust and being a good partner is what Interior should be. The government should not be an adversary. And it's been clear across the states that some policies have been not willing to be developed where you listen to the local populations. Well, I did have the Deputy Secretary and our ASL up there talking to the 40-mile miners. There are some administrative procedures we can do. We're looking at streamlining it. Reclamation and mining, as a geologist, the fair proposition is if you're going to develop on federal land, there needs to be a reclamation plan to make sure it's returned to as good or better condition than what you found it. There are a number of advanced technologies in reclamation that we need to incorporate into our regulatory framework to ensure that happens. Oftentimes, our regulations do not take into account innovation. They don't take into account science or best practices. So when a regulatory framework becomes punitive on an industry and the local population views it as targeting, then there's a breach of trust. So we are aware of it, and we look forward to working with you and the good folks up there to make sure we have a path forward.
Well, and I thank you for the willingness to work with us. Again, these are the small, some of them are the smallest of the small gold miners that are operating out there, and again, in an area and in a manner that is certainly sensitive to the environment. They've been able to make it work well for decades. We want to be able to return it to that, but we need some working with the administration on this. Another effort in rural Alaska is the Ambler Road, which would help to facilitate not only minerals but jobs in the region. And there is an issue that is coming up right now with regards to permits and approval for Ambler Road. And one issue is whether or not the Park Service can complete its ANILCA assessment prior to the completion of the the NEPA and the EIS that comes within it. And it's been one of these situations where we just can't seem to get all of the agencies on the same page. So all I'm asking for this morning is your commitment to work with the Army Corps on this issue so that we can make sure that basically our federal agencies are working together instead of a little bit here, a little bit there. It needs to be more coordinated, and your assist on this would be appreciated.
And thank you, and I agree with you. Part of the frustration has been multiple agencies involved in the same project with different objectives, different locations, independently producing multiple biological opinions, which results in delay, arbitrary results. So part of the reorganization in Interior is to address just that, making sure the arms of the government work together to produce the best possible outcome based on science, based on best practices, longest good, greatest term. So we are working, and I'm happy to report that we're going to have a decision on it shortly. We have the lead. We're working with the Army Corps of Engineers. The President also has tasked us to look heavily at the Army Corps of Engineers to see if we can't look at streamlining the process with the Army Corps of Engineers, which affects a lot of our projects. They're really good people, but some of it, the way that the system is set up, doesn't allow them to move forward, and this is an example.
Well, it is an example, and I appreciate the focus from within the department on permitting and some of the regulatory overlap that we just get snarled up with. So the effort that has been made to move forward on a permitting perspective has been appreciated. We just need more in that area. Senator Cantwell.
Thank you.